year ago tonight, these two teams met in the semifinals. Now it's a rematch in the same semifinal for the 41st District. We've got the Panthers and the Wolverines here in night 2, game 2 of the 41st District Tournament. We'll have all the action coming up for you here on the Game of the Week.
David Toll's Auto Pro customers can't go anywhere without him. No matter where life takes you, the David Toll's Auto Pro nationwide warranty is by your side.
Game of the Week is brought to you by David Toll's Auto Pro Tire and Auto Service, a full-service auto repair shop servicing all models. 2 locations to serve your automotive needs. Call 502-352-2988 for an appointment or go to davidtollsautopros.com.
In today's fast-paced housing market, you need realtors with experience who understand that timing is essential when finding the perfect home for the right price. Tim and Rebecca Hubbard with Exit Realty Crutcher are here to ensure that you and your family have a positive experience from start to finish.
Real estate is what we do,
and families are why we do it.
The Game of the Week is brought to you by Tim and Rebecca Hubbard with Exit Realty Crutcher. Choose local realtors that treat you like family because real estate is what we do and families are why we do it. Reach out to the Hubbard team for all your real estate needs.
Retire a millionaire? Is this yearly?
Okay. It's a lot.
It's a big number, but it's doable.
I mean, yearly, a few hundred every month, you can get here pretty easily. I might get coffee a little less.
I think I could save $7,000 a year. Just comes down to budgeting.
To retire a millionaire, I think it'd be worth it, though.
I want to leave a legacy for my kids.
Save more for retirement with tips from WesBanco. Money doesn't make you wealthy. Understanding it does.
Game of the Week is brought to you by WesBanco Bank. Money doesn't make you wealthy. Understanding it does. So let's talk. Learn more at westbanco.com.
Number 5, the junior Caleb Tracy. Number 6, senior Ty Wainscott. Number 7, senior Grant Shelton. Number 9, sophomore Josiah Connor. Number 10, junior Philip Kittrell. Number 11, junior Christian Sequoia. Number 13, sophomore Cal Wainscott. Number 15, senior Stefan Beebe. Number 16, senior Morgan Clark. Number 22, senior Parker Goblin. And in goal, senior Seth Tucker. And now for Western Hills, we have Chavez, Lawson, Little, Saul Batiste, Ashton Miller, Brandon Chavez, Evan Offer, Bryce Douglas, Leathers, John Lotnow, and in the goal, James Christie. Let's take it in high gear and play ball.
It's the 2 versus 3 seed in the boys 41st District Soccer Tournament here on the Cable 10 Game of the Week. Alongside Brad Thomas, I'm John Piesheimer, and we're so happy to be bringing you all the action, and this will be the end of the semifinal round as these two teams vie for a place in the championship game to take on the Warhawks of Great Crossing. And Brad, this is exactly the game that we saw last season around the same time.
Yeah, this is going to be a great matchup, the marquee matchup of this round of the district. You had the Frankfort Panthers coming out 5-3 victors last time they played, which was on the 13th of September. And last year on this same date, they defeated the Wolverines 3-2 to eliminate the Wolverines from district play. So I expect there's going to be a little bit of a payback mindset from Western Hills that they need to change the tide that's been happening here with Frankfort games.
Yeah, and if you look at that game that happened on the 13th, the gentleman that won and scored the winning penalty to win the district championship for Frankfort High last season, Stefan Beebe, he had a hat trick in that game.
Yeah, Stefan is one of the premier players not only of this district but the region. There he is, number 15, and really he's going to be the difference maker tonight. If Western Hills can control Stefan Beebe and the movement that he has, they will come out victorious. If Stefan does what Stefan does, it's going to be a long night for the Wolverines.
And not only that, but the football homecoming king for Frankfort High. It's a real renaissance man.
You know, Stefan, in his senior year, I'm waiting to see what he's going to be able to do for this Panthers team to see if he can lead them into the regions again this year. It's going to be a game that I think is going to be dictated by early play. Whoever jumps out on top early is going to be able to dictate the pace and the play.
Yeah, you saw Frankfort High immediately looking for their number 9, Josiah Connor, the sophomore.
Josiah's had a good season this year, and he knows a lot of these Western Hills players as he played with them in middle school. So this is, these guys have talked about this game for up until probably the late hours of last night, just wanting to know that this is going to be the one that they've circled on the calendar for a while.
Yeah, looking at the Western Hills side of the scoreboard in that game on September 13th, which was at Western Hills, Elias Chavez, 2 goals in that game. So you really had standout players on the offensive end from both sides.
Yeah, Elias is a premier goal scorer. What I think is going to be interesting, though, is to see if they're going to be able to get him the ball. Austin Farmer, very good coach and good defensive mind fellow, and he's going to be trying to keep the ball away from Elias. Here you see Bryce Douglas head the ball back to James Christie.
Yeah, that's some nice confident defending by the Western Hills defender that time because Beebe was right on his shoulder.
Yeah, Bryce Douglas got the height, got the agility as a basketball player also. That's going to be a good matchup. Here's Chavez on the ball now, looking for friends.
Yeah, some nice close control there by Chavez. The ball finds its way back to the Panthers.
Yeah, Marquis Dawson, the coach of Western Hill Wolverines, has really stressed the fact that they're going to have to come out early with some fire. In the lineup that he put out, he's wanting to play with a false 9, where he's going to let Chavez have a little bit of a free rein on where he goes. And they're going to line up with a 4-2-3-1 formation. Frankfort's going to counter. Coach Farmer's going to throw out a 4-1-3-2. So, but he's planning on being very fluid with their formation changes. So you might see a couple of different looks from Frankfort depending on what Western Hills gets as far as success.
There's Connor just getting into the way there, basically, of the Western Hills keeper.
Yeah, that was James Christie just holding on to the ball just a bit too long, and Josiah Connor there for the opportunity, but the ball is definitely going to be staying here on the deep Frankfort side. That's 22, Parker Coblin, that passed the ball there.
Panthers going to work now, and that'll be a throw actually for Western Hills.
I think Beebe thought that was touched by Western Hills. You know, the thing about Western Hills is they are dominated by seniors, and this is going to be an opportunity for them to go out with a bang if they can beat their arch nemesis here, which has really turned into a good battle over the last few years between Frankfort and Western Hills.
Yeah, really a lot of senior leadership, a lot of players with a lot of experience on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of seniors on the Frankfort High side as well.
Yep. See Bryce Douglas again trying to keep the ball in the offensive end for Western Hills. This is one of those times in the season that you've prepared since early summer to be ready for a game like this, and you know the blood, sweat, tears, and pain come all together to hopefully put your team in a position to win.
Josiah Connor just chipped that across the field, and we've got a little visitor in the net, and you know very seasonally apropos as we've got a bat in the net.
You know, it's a little bit of a spooky empty net right now, so we'll see what happens if we're going to see any Goblins come out and score some goals. There's Beebe controlling the ball in the midfield. John Lodmell playing tight, trying to be physical with Stefan, but Frankfort maintains possession.
There's a shot attempt there. That was number 10.
That's Kittrell.
Kittrell trying to turn that one towards goal.
And, you know, Kittrell's had a good season, leads the team in goals with 17 and trying to be an aggressive goal scorer there. And the defender was able to get in between him and the ball to keep any kind of danger from being throwing it towards James Christie.
Yeah, looking at the Panthers' record, 12-5-2 so far this season. A pretty stellar record for the Panthers coming into this game tonight.
Yeah, and you know, Western Hills at 6-8. I always credit. Here's a good run by Kittrell.
And we are going to have
no foul.
Nothing there, no foul. I think, you know, looking back on that, that's the right call.
I think so too. And you know, in a district game, it's going to take a lot to call a penalty that early. And that's a nice ball from Kittrell, but offside is the call.
Yeah, it must have been really tight. And that would have been some kind of finish if he'd managed to get that one in the back of the net. Let's take a look at this. As Beebe playing that into the path of Kittrell. Slide tackle, missed everything there. And I don't know, looking back at that, you've seen those given, as they like to say, you know, in the professional leagues.
Yeah, I think the big thing there was that he was making a play on the ball. We got our first sub there for Western Hills. We got number 5 coming in, and I'm not sure who that was that came in. Oh, there it is. It's Rodrigo Juarez that is.
There's Elias Chavez.
Oh.
Some wonderful footwork. Still has it. Lays it off for another Wolverine.
That's Rodrigo Juarez. It's Rodrigo.
And as somebody who played high school soccer in glasses, I can sympathize with that. A lot of people pull it off a lot better than I managed to.
John Lodmell with the throw in. Keeper's going to be able to slide out and get it.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of confusion there, but again, you know, we see a senior in goal for one of these teams, and Seth Tucker, he's been here before, so seasoned veteran, and that's what you want in your goalkeeper.
Caden Leathers with a nice header back to his keeper to extinguish that Frankfort attack. James Christie with the boot. They're looking to probe this Panther defense by trying to go up through the middle, as we talked about earlier in the girls' game. I really think that the being able to have the ball wide and spread defense is the key to creating opportunities, and we'll see if we're going to have the Wolverines try and drive the ball down the sidelines in this game to try and separate some of those defenders for the Panthers.
Yeah, really, that time it looked like they were just taking sort of that route one that we discussed earlier, where they're just trying to go over the top.
And, you know, when you have the type of scorers that both of these teams have, it just seems like that's the easiest way. Let's just kick it towards the goal and hope they run on it. But these teams are so well versed in their defensive formations that that's easily extinguished.
Yeah, and it's an interesting, looking at it from that perspective. Last night's game, which was a thriller that went into overtime between the Flyers of Franklin County and the Great Crossing Warhawks, we really had two teams that came in, I believe, wanting to play the same way, and they almost canceled each other out for most of that game. Yep. Both teams really comfortable playing out of the back. Both teams, comfortable, not necessarily having to take that route of just having to bypass the midfield. I think Franklin County maybe just ran out of legs towards the end, but still got the game to overtime, and it took quite some goal from Logan Hepp to knock the Flyers out of this tournament.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Coach Hayes with Franklin County did a wonderful job getting his team prepared. They look like a totally different team than earlier in the season, and kudos to him for having them ready for that Great Crossing matchup. I know that Coach Nick Maxwell was hoping that they would get a few more than just one, but in the end, Great Crossing with the win. And
Kittrell with a chance on goal heads it over the top. That one was kind of going away from him. He's a little upset with himself for not being able to direct that one into the back of the net. As we see here on the floor show replay, it took a friendly bounce for him, and I think he was just trying to put it across to the opposite.
And I think
he was playing it behind him.
Yeah, and it was one of those things. Bryce Douglas acted like he was going to get a head on it and kind of threw everybody off, and the timing just didn't work out. Good defending from the Wolverines, and now they're trying to turn it to offense.
Western Hills breaking now.
Carter Lawson out there trying to get something started.
This will find its way to Tucker, who
deposits it in about the fourth row.
Decisively clears the ball. Now he'll have a chance to put it into play.
It's good active keeping. Anytime it's coming to the box, he's quick off the line, making something happen. Seeing a lot of aerial duels right now, and a lot of nerves is what I'm seeing in these players right now.
Yeah, first 10 minutes in, it looks like these teams are kind of sizing each other still up a little bit.
Yep. That's Ashton Miller in the corner deep here, trying to make something happen, and he is wheeling and dealing. And puts it on frame for Seth Turner. He was hoping to be able to get a cross in there, but Tucker was able to snuff that out. But good footwork here. Able to beat two, and then the quick cross.
Ashton Miller, the senior, playing over on the right wing.
It's BB and Greg Little there in the middle of the field. Two seniors battling an aerial duel there.
And two seniors who have been so important to their teams over the past couple seasons.
Bryce Douglas clearing the ball out as they're trying to free up Kittrell again. One of the downfalls for Western Hills last year was that Bryce Douglas got hurt late in the season, unable to play in the district tournament, and that exposed Western Hills a little bit late with some inexperience, and that was the game decider last year, in my opinion.
And that's the one thing about this, the 41st District teams last year, and it's been the case this year as well, is there's so little between them that one injury like that can really make the difference.
Yeah, we had a foul here on Western Hills, and they're in a good position here, the Panthers are, for an opportunity.
Yeah, Frankfort High with the chance to put the ball into a very dangerous position here as players kind of lining up on the back post there. The ball comes into the right foot, goes narrow with it. Danger still isn't clear, but finds its way to a white shirt.
Chavez being able to get it out off to Ashton Miller, who bangs it off the Panther defense.
Western Hill will have a throw. I believe we're going to have some substitutions coming here as we see on the Franklin Goins Insurance replay. Nice job there with the header out. I believe that was number 21, Carter Lawson, heading it out.
Yeah, Carter, a sophomore, one of the smallest players on the field, yet putting his head to the ball to get it out of play.
Yeah, not the kind of guy you'd think would be heading the ball clear, but didn't have to leave his feet for it either.
Right place, right time.
Comes the throw in from, that was number 21, Houston.
Yeah,
Hancock is in the game.
All right, here's what the Wolverines are wanting. Got some width, got Chavez there, and a good play by Tracy to pull that ball out.
Yeah, it's not just making the slide, but seeing the danger before it happens. And Caleb Tracy, we've called his name a lot in the past for his defensive work over there. Just an engine on him. Just runs and runs and runs and always puts in a shift. See this on the floor show replay.
You know, that is not Tracy. That was Kyle Wainscott.
Okay.
They look very similar,
yeah, they
5 and 6.
They do have a very similar similar build, and that number looks a lot alike. Here's BB.
Got the Caden Leathers battling BB there.
They almost got a corner out of it just by virtue of Western Hills having a mishit. This one just trickling into the goal mouth there. So there's number 13, Cal Wainscott.
And you can see what Western Hills is trying to do is to free up Chavez for a potential one-on-one scenario. But
here's Caleb Tracy trying to lay it off. Maybe close to a handball there, but it looks like it hit the shoulder. And right now, again, this is just sort of it's somewhat similar to what we saw last night, where it just becomes a little bit of a chess match between these two evenly matched teams.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a feeling out process.
Tracy coming all the way across the field to pick that one up.
Ashton Miller with the throw in there. Greg Little
now.
Yeah,
that throw in finds its way to Greg Little in a little pocket of space. No pun intended.
Sal Batista going over to get the ball. Head-to-head battle.
That's some nice shoulder-to-shoulder action there. Grant Shelton throwing a shoulder in and winning a throw for his team. That's what you like to see out of your defenders.
Evan Alford there on the ball, number 27 for Western Hills. Houston Hancock puts the ball in deep, trying to find Josiah Connor, but Western Hills be able to push the ball out of bounds.
Yeah, the senior Houston Hancock, number 21, has had a little run of play to start this one out. Let's take a look at the replay here. Brought to you by replay sponsor.
Oh, miscommunication again.
And that's one of those that can get ugly real quick, and I think they're kind of having a little bit of a discussion about it, trying to figure out who didn't call who off.
Yeah, in typical soccer world, that's a keeper supposed to be yelling to get the ball.
I want to thank our replay sponsors, the Floor Show, and they were the ones who sponsored that last replay. As this cross comes in, and it's punched out.
John Lodmell punching the ball out.
And a header, and nearly sneaking into the goal there. That was number 9, Josiah Connor, who nearly put a little English on it, as we see on the Franklin Goins Insurance replay here.
Yeah, that was Shigoya with a good cross, and just missed by the striker Connor. The better chances have been from the Panthers thus far, as we are nearing the midway point in this first half. Both evenly matched teams, and the coaches look like they've got their teams well prepared. It's Little hitting the ball there, and once again clearing it out. Wainscott.
Of course, the winner of this game will go on to take on the Warhawks of Great Crossing, who won a thriller last night, 3 minutes into the first overtime period against Franklin County. In that game, nothing really between those two teams for the longest time, and really it took a moment of brilliance to win that for the Warhawks.
Yeah, Franklin County really came out with a good game plan and well coached, and just in overtime giving up the lone goal to Logan Hepp.
Really nice exchange there by Beebe. I don't know if you saw that, but couldn't find anyone to throw it to, so he actually threw it off the back of his own player and found himself in a nice little bit of space and earned a free kick for his team, I believe. I don't know if that was a corner or a free kick.
No, free kick. They called a foul on Bryce Douglas. That was a good aggressive center back going after the ball against one of the premier players in the region. And, I call that an even match there.
Shigoya already put in a nice ball for a chance at goal from the right side. Now he's going to try it from the left. And nearly punching that in is Kai Wainscott, the senior, who got his foot to it, but I think it was just a little bit too high for him to keep down, as we see here on the floor show replay.
Yeah, that is a keeper error, and he pushed it right to the center back, who shows that he's more defender than offensive player.
Yeah, and I really think what created that chance was Grant Shelton, number 7, who was putting some pressure on the keeper. Nothing illegal, nothing untoward, but just kind of crowding the keeper out, giving him something to think about.
I think, right now, from a Western Hills perspective, they've got to get Elias Chavez involved, because right now he is on an island and not seeing much of the ball.
Yeah, Frankfort High, just starting to put together the pieces of establishing their attack. We've seen a lot more purpose, I guess, to Frankfort High bringing the ball into the Western Hills side of the field.
Yeah, that was Grant Shelton again, working to get the ball as deep as possible and out for a corner kick for the Panthers.
I believe that was Shigoya again, putting that in.
So Ashton Miller trying to head the ball back to a teammate.
Yeah, Beebe takes it off of his feet, tried to play it forward to Kittrell, bounces back to him, a little ping pong action. Beebe wanted a handball, but I think it just maybe a little bit too close to call that.
Yeah, he couldn't avoid that one, so good call by the referee. The referee's done a good job in this game. There's a lot of emotions when these teams play, and both coaching staffs are very emotional with this game. Not only are the players, but the coaches really want this win as well.
Yeah, and Western Hills, coming into the tournament as the number 2 seed last year and dropping to the number 3 seed, they're going to want to set that right.
Yeah, and so far this game's been very choppy. I haven't seen real control as far as being able to control the game and possession.
Josiah Connor with a nice ball forward looking for Kittrell.
I think Bryce Douglas has done a good job of fending off some of those attackers coming through, but kind of this chaotic type soccer really is not strong for either team at this point. Frankfort's had a little bit more possession, a little bit more danger, but at this point, I'd call it pretty even.
Yeah, I think Frankfort High just starting to ask a few questions of Western Hills here.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Elias Chavez down deep, trying to help get more involved. He's playing more of a winger position now. I think that's a good call by Marquis Dawson, the coach for Western Hills, just trying to get his top scorer involved, get him some touches and see what happens.
From a coaching perspective, let me pick your brain a little bit. When you see something in the first 5-10 minutes of a game, maybe through nobody's fault, but a formation, game plan, etc., that you put together at the beginning that you figure out pretty quickly just isn't working, what are the methods that you can go about to try to adjust that on the fly?
The big thing is you've got to get the talented players to touch the ball. I think sometimes people get focused on, I'm a striker, I'm a midfielder, but when you've got talent on the field, they have to touch the ball. If they're not touching the ball, you've got to figure out a way to make something happen.
So when you're trying to kind of make those adjustments, do you do that just send in the game plan with a substitute, or
if you've done your scouting, you have already kind of talked with the players, so they should have a game plan in place, and usually it's something quick, and it's switching 2 players as opposed to 10. And being able to make something happen. Here's a good free kick from Western Hills that goes wide.
Yeah, that one had enough power, just not enough direction.
That's Caden Leathers that really has a boot on him that put that on frame. But, it comes down to the fact that you've got to get your talented players touching the ball, trying to influence the game as much as they possibly can.
We saw that a little bit in the first game tonight with Frankfort High's ladies team, the Lady Panthers, and Emma Johnson, number 7. We saw her just having kind of free reign to go wherever she needed to on the field, to come as far back into her own half as possible just to get a touch.
Yep.
And here's BB. You'll see a little bit of the same from him. He likes to have a little bit of that positional flexibility as well.
Yeah, he's definitely got license to roam, and that's one of the things that makes him so dangerous. He can do it all. He can be a goal scorer. He can be a distributor. He can even be a defensive midfielder. I've seen Coach Farmer place him as a defensive 6, and he's successful wherever he is on the field.
There's something to be said for that, as we see the replay here, just a little nudge in the back, and that'll earn Frankfort High a free kick. There's something to be said for the amount of trust that you're putting in a player to allow them to do that and not, leave too much space behind them, because you have to be disciplined enough to be able to pick your spots.
Yeah, you've got to have the right player with the right mentality and the right soccer IQ. The thing about Stefan is he's played high-level club soccer in Lexington for many, many years, and the training that he gets there helps him so much more in a high school game than it does even in a club game, because most of the players are not on his soccer IQ level. And being able to dictate certain parts of the game is really his specialty when he's with this Frankfort High program.
Frankfort High now with the corner. Shigoya moving back over. Might be looking at an in-swinger here. Nobody else around, so this one probably is going into the box.
And I think that's something that, as we talk more about this game, and we'll watch this corner real quick, is the fact that Frankfort and Franklin County does not have a club soccer program.
That one almost finding the head of Josiah Connor, who winds up in the net himself.
So when you think about playing Great Crossing, who everybody on the team plays club soccer, versus some of these clubs that have 4 players that are traveling out of county to play soccer for club sports, it makes it very difficult to be competitive. And, that's one of the things our coaching staffs here in Franklin County have to deal with.
And it's kind of a counterintuitive thing that I've noticed as we see the replay here. Connor almost getting his head to that one. I think he just maybe got there a little bit before he did.
And then he also had a post in his face. So
yeah, that's true.
That post was a good defender there.
That'll do it every time. But one of the things I've kind of observed is a lot of times it's not a one-to-one equation of having a talented player with a high IQ and just letting them roam free, because they've still got to play with the rest of the players on the team. And you still, if you play a ball into space where somebody should be running, it doesn't do you any good if that player doesn't know to run there.
Right, and it comes from having players that you can surround the talent with, and understanding role players. Not everybody's going to be the goal scorer.
Yeah, a friend of mine had a son who was on his high school team. I mean, far and away the most talented player on this team. Played the number 10 role, was so good with both feet, could just lay it off on a dime, was a scoring machine. But the challenge they always had was they could not figure out how to play him with the rest of the players, because there was such a deficiency, maybe not of skill, but of experience and IQ, and that was a real problem for the coach to have to figure out.
Right, and it's one of those things, you can make amazing passes, but if somebody's not ready for that pass, guess what? It's probably going to go astray. And I often say it's kind of like playing basketball with somebody that is able to pass very well. If you're not ready for it, you're going to catch it in your face a lot of times.
This is an interesting interpretation of the rule of having the ball on the line in the corner.
Yeah, he kind of bent it a little bit there.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see a lot of players be creative with that space, but I mean, that was a foot off the line.
Yeah, I don't know that the AR was able to figure out where that was.
A mishit there by number 13. That was Cal Wainscott.
Yeah. We got Cal and Cal. Kai and Cal. Let's get that right, Brad. When you look through these rosters, it's fun to see the names that have been generational for some of these teams. It seems like there's been a Tracy on the Frankfort team forever. It seems like there's always the same type of last names that you see. And
we've seen McClavics for years on the boys and girls side.
And and from our family standpoint, it's been an odd year for us not to have someone playing in the high school realm. There's Carter Lawson.
Nice job by Lawson, the smallest guy by about a head's height there, but really getting in the fight.
Oh, that's a good ball.
Kittrell, it's going to sit down for him. He's got a chance. He's got to take it now. Lobs it, and it just goes wide.
You know, that was one of those things where the Western Hills defenders got beat, but I'll say it again. Douglas came back and caused chaos. And you'll see from the center back, he's beat at that point.
And just turns on the afterburners, gets himself involved in the play without going too far, because if you do too much there, you're looking at a red card.
Yeah, and Douglas is an extremely good athlete and well-rounded sports-wise. And, you know, sometimes it's more about the heart and the drive than it is about technical ability, and that was a heart play there by Bryce Douglas.
Yeah, Kittrell, you know, I think he started to hear the footsteps and realized his only option there was going to be to try to lob the keeper and hope that it stayed down, and just went over.
Yeah, and you know, that was one of those plays that it was speed, and Kittrell knows that he wasn't going to win that foot race.
So Frankfort High will reset here. Finding Beebe in a pocket of space, playing between the lines well.
And that Beebe in the midfield where he can start blending in
that's
with
where
the
he
attackers.
really likes to do, and that is going to be goal number 1 as Beebe lays it off. Kittrell plays it into the right post. Beautiful little one-touch football for the Panthers, and they open up the scoring with 10:21 left in this first half. Panthers up 1-0.
That was packaged by Stephon Beebe. Watch him carry the ball through here, through traffic.
And that's what he loves to do.
That's right, with his head up, and Kittrell knows exactly what he's going to do at this point, and our keeper, James Christie, just didn't have a chance at this one. Look at this.
Yeah,
Great
Kittrell,
layoff.
Beebe waiting until the defender's committed and then playing the ball. And that takes a lot of discipline and patience to be able to do that and to wait the pass properly. But he put it on a dime, and Kittrell nearly taking himself out of the game there with the corner flag, but manages to get the goal. 1-0 your score.
And when you look back on it, what happened, you had the right back, Brandon Chavez, didn't recognize the run. So when the center back went for the ball, it exposed the run for Kittrell, and well done by the Panthers.
Yeah, we get back to that soccer IQ, and that exactly what Beebe had in the back of his head as he's making that run. He's holding, and then as soon as he sees that defender commit, because he's always got the option of taking that shot himself.
That's right, and that's why Kittrell has now 20 goals on the season. It's being able to play with that understanding that Beebe was going to get him the ball in the right position.
Shigoya just lofts it up into the air.
What's going to be interesting is to see the reaction.
And out on an island here is the goalkeeper. He's got to just get it back into his box so he can pick it up.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see the Western Hills reaction now. They've kind of gotten almost this first half put to bed, and they gave up a goal in the last 10 minutes. So we'll see if they can respond before halftime. Right now, they haven't had a whole lot of shots on goal.
And Frankfort High now has sort of the wind underneath their sails.
This is the guy that's going to have to carry the Western Hills load, and that's Elias Chavez. And if they can free him up, he can score goals in a hurry. But once again, not getting a lot of touches on the ball, and
that's just kind of being a little bit wasteful with possession.
Right, and a little difference in Elias, very talented player, but he's much more of that 9, the goal scorer, and needing some people around him to get him the ball so he can be in those dangerous positions.
There's the goal scorer, or the goal assist man, Stephon Beebe, who had a little bit of a rest after that one, but coming back onto the pitch now.
Is Kyle Wainscott going to throw this one in? He grabbed about 10 extra yards there, and center ref put him back.
I think the Western Hill faithful are letting both he and the official know about it. It'll be a throw-in for Frankfort High. And once again. If he keeps that up, he's kind of flirting with possibly getting a yellow card here.
It's a delay of game if the center would choose to invoke, but...
And this one, he just tosses it into space, and Western Hills manages to take advantage.
This is where we need to see Western Hills connect some balls, get some offense going instead of just trying to force the ball in. They need to maintain possession here and see if they can't string some passes together for an opportunity. Turnover from Alford.
Shigoya with a nice bit of pressure. And didn't find anything he liked in front of him, so lays it off to Beebe, and that's always a nice option to have. Beebe with the shot from distance just couldn't keep it down.
And it's one of those things, you saw the space just open up. It parted like the Red Sea, so to speak, and Beebe finding that open space to get that shot. And
he's wearing number 15, but he's really kind of playing like a number 8 in that midfield role, just having the license to create. And that's what he likes to do. He's got a lot of pace and power, and once he gets ahead of steam heading towards goal, he's a really tough guy to dispossess. Had a little shoulder to the back, no call there, but Western Hills gets a chance and really, gets back to what you're saying. You've got to get the ball to the feet of your skill players, and right now Western Hills struggling to do just that.
And you'll notice how many times that Beebe's been able to be on the ball, and that's what Western Hills needs to get their talented players to be more engaged. We got 6.5 minutes left in this first half, and the game plan needs to start changing for Western Hills.
That is a missed kick from the back line, and really a corner is probably the optimal result there, as that could have very easily fallen into the path of Grant Shelton, who would have had a wide open shot at goal.
And that was just one of those concentration moments that for some reason the contact was not made the way it should have been. Now there's another corner kick that's not even close to the corner.
Yeah. And we're talking about maybe, a half a foot of advantage. You just, are the margins that fine?
Well, I think it's ironic that the AR is not saying something. So that's a pretty easy one. If we can spot it from where we are, you would think that you would get some kind of correction there.
Maybe tried to lay it off, but instead found the foot of a Western Hills player. But Western Hills, so many bodies behind the ball that they're just unable to do anything about it. And
there's a gift from Frankfort.
A corner with your entire team behind the ball.
Yeah, that was one of those. You're kind of lucky in the fact that you were wide with that back pass, because that could have been disastrous if that was on frame.
Yeah, it's tough to give up a corner when you're to the opposition when 10 of their 11 players are on their own side of the field. Nice little fancy touch by Kittrell to try to create some space for himself. Here's Beebe doing what he does best.
This is danger here. That's a good
run. Gives himself a touch, and that's
a great tackle by Bryce Douglas.
Yeah, Beebe is kind of questioning whether or not that should be a penalty, but getting up okay, and I agree. This is, last-ditch defending. You've got to get this just right, or you're looking at a penalty kick and possibly a red card, and he did just that.
Yeah, sometimes defenders wait a little too long to do a slide tackle. The slide tackle is usually a last resort. What I would have hoped is that he could have stayed on his feet and controlled it, but he did a good job to recover from that.
There's the kick, and that's going to go just wide. We'll get a couple substitutions in here. Yeah, and Bryce Douglas again calling his number, as we see here on the replay. This is where Beebe wants to play. This is where he's at his most dangerous, and Douglas just doing a wonderful job. And didn't even touch him going through.
Right.
Like, Beebe, he had to kind of leap over him, because if not, he was going to trip.
And I think Beebe had a little bit of a heavy touch there that that opened the door for Douglas to be able to slide in for that tackle. Once again, every ball's running through Stephon Beebe.
Yeah, and it goes to what you're saying, get the ball to the feet of your most talented players, and so far Frankfort High doing a better job of that than Western Hills.
Now, Western Hills is just not being quick to the ball. And, it seems like every 50-50 ball is going to the Panthers' way, and it comes down to desire and heart. And right now it looks like the Panthers are wanting this.
Now, am I right in that the Panthers are the only team aside from Frankfort Christian, maybe in the 41st district, that does not play on artificial turf.
That's correct.
The step over on the free kick from midfield.
Not sure whether that was off the training ground or not, but definitely an exotic call there by the players on the field. James Christie with the goal kick, or the kick to put it back in play. Once again, Frankfort just
Kitchell
seems to
with
be
a nice layoff, and he might get it back here. The side of the foot through ball just did not make it back to him. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's okay. You know, it says Frankfort seems very offensive-minded, and Western Hills just seems like they're on their heels.
Stay with us here at halftime, which is just 2 minutes and change away. We will have the Classic Gold Master Jewelers halftime show, and we've got a lot to discuss about this one, as these two teams have really kind of been at loggerheads up until a little bit ago when Frankfort High scored the opening goal. We'll have all the highlights and some discussion for you, so stay with us. I want to thank David Toll's Auto Pro, who has been our sponsor for Cable 10 Game of the Week since time immemorial, and they have been a great partner with us in bringing you action for years and years here on Cable 10. It's been a pleasure to work with them, and it's been a pleasure to bring you these games. As Kittrell now with the chance to break away again.
And you know, it's Bryce Douglas back there cleaning up again, and the pressure that Frankfort's putting on the back four for Western Hills is coming to a head, and Coach Marquis Dawson has got to figure out some answers here.
As we get a good look at the new Fieldhouse complex that looks like it's just about ready to open for Franklin County, as we see yet another interesting interpretation of the corner. That one finds its way all the way through. Nobody from Western Hills able to get ahead to that.
Down into the final 30 seconds of this first half. I think as we see this half coming to an end, Frankfort's got to be happy they got on the board, you know, but it's not 10s all the way across the board. They had moments, and there may be one coming up right now, but it looks like it's cleared out by Caden Leathers.
Yeah, on the balance of play, Frankfort High might be a little bit disappointed as we see the placement of that. And the clock ticks down here, and that will do it for the first half. A goal by Philip Kittrell, assisted by Stefan Beebe, is the difference between these two teams. 1-0 your score at halftime. Frankfort High on top and halfway to having a chance to defend their 41st district crown. Stay with us. The Classic Gold Master Jewelers halftime show is coming up here on Cable 10.
Classic Gold Master Jewelers, 859 East Main Street.
Game of the Week halftime show is brought to you by Classic Gold. Art-carved class rings are available at Classic Gold Master Jewelers on 859 East Main Street in Frankfort.
Welcome back to the Classic Gold Master Jewelers halftime show. Frankfort High on top of Western Hills 1-0 in the 2-3 seed matchup in the 41st District Boys Soccer Tournament. And Brad, really, you know, starting off with very appropriate imagery there with the bat stuck in the goal. And really, these two teams were kind of stuck in the mud a little bit to start off this game.
Yeah, you know, what I kept noticing was some lackadaisical moments from Western Hills, very uncharacteristic of a Marquis Dawson coach team. But, you know, Frankfort capitalized on some great play by Stefan Beebe and passing to Kittrell for the opening goal. Where we saw some good plays were from Bryce Douglas making some recovery runs to stop some Panther offensive moves, just like that one that was called for a foul. But he was head-to-head with BB most of the night. You know, there's a golden opportunity right there missed by Frankfort.
Yeah, the three-man wall almost making it harder for the keeper to see the ball coming in.
Yeah, and here's the play.
Yeah, BB with that run and got it a little under his feet, but just kept possession and laid it off.
Kittrell with a nice goal there. Good touch, good court awareness, but then not very good
flag
awareness.
Much better touch on the ball to score than on the corner flag in the throes of the post-game or the post-goal celebration. And here is BB with the run on goal. I think you're right. It was that touch that kind of got him into trouble.
Yeah, it opened the door for Douglas to come in and clean it up. I think from what I'm seeing, there's got to be some changes from the Western Hills side. They're just a lot of standing around hoping somebody's going to do something. They've got to get some movement going. They got to get Chavez involved. They got to get Little more involved. Frankfort's backline really had an easy go in this half. They didn't get challenged a whole lot. There wasn't Tucker wasn't really pressured too much. I think ultimately the second half is going to be make it or break it in probably the first 10 minutes. We're going to see either a different Western Hills team or we're going to see a repeat from last year with seeing Frankfort go to the championship game.
Well, that was a Classic Gold Master Jewelers halftime show. That's how we got here. Let's see where we go. Stay with us here on the Cable 10 Game of the Week.
Around here, it's all or nothing. That's why your Toyota dealer has more all-wheel drive choices than anyone else. Like the best-selling Toyota Camry or the stylishly advanced new Corolla. Now get 4.75 APR financing on a new 25 Corolla or Camry while supplies last. Or lease a new 26 Corolla for $209 a month or a Camry for just $279 a month with 2 years no-cost maintenance included. Get all you need at your Toyota dealer now. Toyota, let's go places.
The Game of the Week is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. For all Toyota offers, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. The Game of the Week is brought to you by The Floor Show. The Floor Show wishes everyone a great sporting season. Be sure to see us for all your flooring needs and personalized customer service. We are just minutes away in Lawrenceburg at 1110 Bypass South, or call us at 502-839-6917. Follow and like us on Facebook too.
Managing your utilities doesn't have to be stressful. With the MyFPB app, everything you need is right at your fingertips. Get 24/7 access to view and pay bills instantly, track electric and water usage, and even manage multiple properties. Go paperless. Turn on notifications and get real-time outage updates. Take control of your utilities anytime, anywhere. Download the MyFPB app now and make utility management easy. MyFPB, your utilities simplified.
Game of the Week is brought to you by Whitehead Hancock. Whitehead Hancock Plumbing has been serving Frankfort families for more than 100 years. You can trust Whitehead Hancock for all your plumbing, heating, cooling, and septic needs. Call them today at 502-227-2213 for 24-hour emergency service or visit their website at whiteheadhancock.com.
In 1972, a young David Tolles vowed to jump the Kentucky River on his big wheel. He did not make it. We can rebuild him. We have the capability to make the world's perfect mechanic. Better, stronger, faster. David Tolles Tires and Auto Service on Duncan Road.
The Game of the Week is brought to you by Goins Insurance. Family owned, family operated, protecting Central Kentucky since 1949. Call us for the same great rates and great service you've always been given. Call 502-875-4270 for your quote today.
40 minutes to decide who's going to play Great Crossing in the championship game tomorrow night. Frankfort High is halfway there, 1-0 your score on a Philip Kittrell goal set up by Stefan Beebe. And, we talked about it a little bit in halftime. What's Western Hills' path back into this game, Brad?
I think you've got to do something to try to keep Beebe from just running rampant in the midfield. You've got to do something that's going to kind of clog him up, challenge him, so he doesn't have that room to get his head up and start finding people making those runs. You saw him take a shot late in the first half that there wasn't anybody within 10 yards of him. He's a great player, but good tactics will stop that and force him to make the passes that a little earlier than he wants to.
And if you're Austin Farmer with on Frankfort High's sideline, just more of the same?
Yeah, you got to keep the pressure on Western Hills, and so that way Elias Chavez and the Greg Littles, who are their goal scorers, they only really have 2 goal scorers, are not going to be in a dangerous situation.
Yeah, you see Little maybe coming up a little forward just to try to get his feet to the ball. And Little with the ball right now on the sideline, trying to play it forward to Chavez.
And Chavez working hard to get the ball there. And now you got Batista trying to get in there. Carter Lawson, we got a player still down.
And that looks to be...
That's Wayne Scott. And he got in with Chavez a little bit and Chavez got physical. And
yeah, we'll have to see the replay. It looks like maybe
it's his hip, I believe.
Yeah, let's take a look at this here on the Franklin Goins Insurance Agency replay. Chavez just going shoulder to shoulder, a little shirt pulling kind of going both ways, and Chavez maybe throwing a little bit of the stiff arm, and then I think he might have gotten stepped on.
Yeah, well, it looked like he almost hyperextended there, and he's going to tough it out. But these kids, they're still very young, very flexible. If something happened like that to me, I'd be out for about 6 months.
Yeah, just laying out to try to keep the ball away, and I think all of its weight kind of came down on the trailing leg, and that might have been just a little bit of getting, jammed up there. He's back up and walking around, and unlike you, I used to skateboard, and I have no idea how I managed to do that because, I roll my ankle, getting out of bed.
Right.
So,
on that restart, Western Hills tried to take a quick shot, and it just didn't pay off for him. Went right to the hands of Seth Tucker, and now we're looking at again Frankfort High pushing up the field.
I was just about to say that. So many black shirts on the Western Hills side of the field.
And one thing we did not see from Western Hills was any real counters. Everybody from Frankfort is up, wanting to get involved in the offense, and I think Western Hills little punch drunk and not looking to counter quickly with all that movement up the pitch from the Panthers.
Yeah, it's almost as if they're just reverting back into their game plan and not kind of reacting to what's in front of them.
Yeah, and there you see a missed pass. You had a chance to turn on the offense and missed a pass by a foot. And that's the stuff that is keeping this game as a 1-0 game right now. Western Hills just not able to connect passes. That's Kittrell again being dangerous.
Another one, he takes the shot and just catches that with the outside of his foot.
Yeah, I think it took a weird bounce on him. That's Connor.
Yeah. Nice header by Connor just to get himself involved. Yeah, that last bounce is really what took it away from him, and Kittrell had already started to swing his foot at that point.
Yep, he was wanting to hit it laces and hard and end up catching it with the outside of his boot. Once again, coming off a goal kick, Frankfort controlling the ball. Greg Little throwing himself into it, trying to make something happen, but he fouls.
Panthers rather get a free kick here. Greg Little just trying to get involved anywhere he can.
Greg's had a great year. He's had 12 goals on the season, but he needs one now more than any other time this season.
Yeah, and this is his senior year. He's not going to want to go out in the first game that Hills plays in this tournament.
It's BB being very dangerous with a long drive towards the goal.
And now we're going to get a corner.
Good play by James Christie to get out, get active, get his hands on the ball. If I'm drawing up a play here, it's going to be a back post and try and run somebody off to that back post. Watch Tracy come in.
And near post and gets it in there. That is number 7, Grant Shelton, the senior. The corner went short, and Shelton came to meet it and placed it perfectly with the side of his head. Frankfort High up by a brace, and they're going to celebrate with the Panther faithful.
That's a big goal, and now that really puts Western Hills on the ropes. Let's see what happens here. Oh, that's just that's a well-designed play, good header, and Western Hills just sit there and, for the most part, watched it.
Yep, and just playing short, it's too far out for the keeper to even think about coming off his line.
Yeah, that was nobody else being hungry for the ball and just watching it come into someone with a clear header.
And now Western Hills, they're really going to have to start bringing some bodies forward and just going to have to start just the game plan really has to shift at this point.
Yeah, on that goal kick, to me it looked like there was going to be an opportunity on that back post because they'd stacked so many people to the front post, but it paid off for Austin Farmer's team, and he'll say he drew it up just like that.
Yeah, it could possibly be the misdirect. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
We got another Panther player down.
Yeah, over on the far side, it looks like it might be. No, it's that is number
22.
22. That is Parker Coblin, the senior.
Yeah.
Looked like he might have just taken a shot to the head there. Clearly in a little bit of pain. Let's take a look at this here on the Franklin Goins Insurance Agency replay.
Well, he lost his footing. And
as the Western Hills player there was falling back, caught him in the face with the back of the heel.
It's one of those, he lost his footing and then he was in a vulnerable position.
And we've got a foul, and that'll be a
free
kick for Western Hills. And they're going to take this opportunity to get as many bodies forward as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you see the replay here, almost a little bit of a spin kick, accidental, but.
Yeah, you're going to have Caden Leathers is going to take this free kick. Caden, big left foot, will see if he can put this on frame because depends on how many bodies Western Hills can get up front.
And doesn't go any further than the wall. Little trying to turn around and fire first time. Doesn't get any real power behind it.
It's Ashton Miller trying to find.
Miller turning the corner. This one's going to be run down.
That's Carter Lawson again.
By Carter Lawson.
Good footwork by Lawson.
Gets it away, and this is where Western Hills really needs to keep possession a little bit, and we have a shot and looked like it went right into the stomach of a Frankfort High defender. At first I thought it might have been close to a handball.
I did too, and the referee was right on top of it, showing that it hit him in the chest.
I think if I hit it with my hand, I'd probably grab my stomach as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the wrestling heel in me. So we take a look here. This will be the definitive.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was. He caught that one right in the chest. Western Hills with another free kick and another chance to put the ball into the box.
It's going to be John Lodmell is going to take this free kick, and we'll see if something comes off the training ground here. Lodmell kicks it towards the goal.
Comes into the front, to the top of the 18-yard box. Frankfort High a little trouble clearing it at first, and then Beebe just kind of takes charge. That one nearly fell into Beebe's feet, and he had a head of steam and a clear path ahead of him. Frankfort High taking the throw quick. Western Hills, that is Bryce Douglas.
Yeah, you can definitely tell that Bryce Douglas is focusing on Beebe now, and that's got to be some of the adjustments that Coach Dawson dictated at half. Just kind of shadowing where Stefan is. The problem is Douglas is going to have a foot race here with Beebe, and he's going to have some help from his keeper there.
Yeah, I think Frankfort High is really wanting to put the pressure on. I think they want to put the knife through the heart, so to speak.
Yeah, this end-to-end soccer really creates opportunities, though, for Western Hills. And, it's about discipline of understanding where you are in the game if you're Frankfort High. Just need to kind of maintain the shape of the defense and not really get exposed on a quick counter. But Western Hills struggling to get passes together.
Yeah, and for Frankfort High, you're tempted to say, well, Western Hills has got to really come out and start playing aggressively and getting bodies forward. So that's going to open up some space, but they really haven't had trouble finding space yet.
No.
So
there's the goal scorer, Shelton, again, and Little able to put a body on him, free up the ball.
Seth Tucker taking that off the knee. I think he wasn't sure who had hit that last. So he gives himself the little out and maybe the little cheeky dive down to pick it up.
Another play by Evan Alford just to get the ball out of bounds. And, it comes back to the fact instead of trying to get possession and build an offense, they're just on their heels trying to just clear the ball out and try and avoid this next wave of offense that the Panthers are trying to put together.
Yeah, we still got a long way to go, but Western Hills is really going to have to sort of change their mentality a little bit here, I think.
Yeah, there's still a lot of time left. We got 30 minutes left, but, from the looks of the way Western Hills is playing right now, I don't see the score changing unless they start thinking with a much more offensive movement.
We're closer to 3-0 than 2-1.
That's exactly right. But the game can change quickly, and that's why we play 40 minutes in each half. Chavez chasing the ball once again, just not able to get the ball on his foot in a place he can cause some damage to the Panthers defense.
The goal kick going right to BB, and for Western Hills, that's the last person you want to see getting in touch, and that's why, just shaking off the defender. Coming down the left, cuts back, does it again, maybe showing a little bit too much of it to the defender that time for Western Hills, but
that was Douglas.
Frankfort High with the chance to switch play here.
Yeah, Douglas matches up well with BB in this deep in his own end here, but
Shelton just decided to have a go from distance and from an acute angle. Couldn't really get it on frame.
Yeah, BB seems to be much more dangerous when he's trying to get others involved than when he's trying to create his own shot.
Yeah, there have been a couple of times where he's kind of gone down that alley and managed to beat a few people, and then maybe just a little bit of mental hesitation, something I'm all too familiar with. But here's BB getting a foot in and dispossessing.
It's Carter Lawson.
Lawson.
Carter's looked good out there for the young kid, and I say kid, he's a sophomore, but he has definitely held his own. And able to maintain possession, cause some opportunities and havoc for the Panthers. But the midfield is what is really handling the ball right now for Western Hills, and sadly that's not going to be the strong suit of this team. This team really has lived and died by Elias Chavez and Greg Little, and we're just not seeing enough of them right now.
Yeah, it's just that there's that one point. It's just really, I feel like they're kind of losing the game just on that first 10 or 20 yards on the Frankfort High side of the field, where they just can't get past that threshold and get anything going towards goal of any substance.
They're just stretched out a little too far, so they're unable to connect from the back end through the midfield to the strikers. Good play by James Christie there. He's done well tonight. He really didn't have a chance on that corner kick, and the first goal he didn't have a chance on, but otherwise he's been pretty strong back there.
Yeah, it was kind of left on his own on the first goal after the defenders committed to trying to stop BB, and then BB with the layoff.
Yeah. And the one thing that I see from Western Hills too, it just seems like a lack of urgency. I'm not seeing them connecting a lot of stuff with a vision of what's going to happen. And there's Connor on the ball again.
Yeah, he's been pretty impressive tonight. Kind of done everything but score. Had a couple of nice chances on goal. He had one really impressive header. He was kind of having to head it back towards goal, maybe a little bit too close to the post. And Frankfort High will have a chance to get the ball into the penalty area again here.
Yeah, we'll see how Western Hills handles this corner situation. They play it short to BB, who tries to change the angle. And they just
header
missed.
Off the top of the bar. That was Kai Wainscott, the senior.
He's had a couple of almost wide open headers there on set pieces that are coming in and just not been able to put them in the back of the net.
Yeah, that one, it was just kind of, he had to come down a lot to get to that. It had just started to sink by the time it got to him. When you have to come down that far, it's really tough to keep that header down. It typically wants to go up in the air.
And he caught it a little bit off of from his forehead, more on the top of his head, so he couldn't control it as well.
Substitution checking in for Western Hills is number 2, Saul Batista.
Saul Batista back into the game for the Wolverines.
John Lodmell with the throw in. Greg Little fighting for it on the sidelines.
Little just not able to get any space to operate in.
That's Saul Batista down.
Just came into the game and is down on the floor, as we see on the floor show replay.
He caught a hip from Shelton right into his upper arm.
And we're going to get a little stoppage of play here because he is on the playing surface. Looks like he's close to getting back up. And the floor show replay, Batista is shown the floor.
See some of the students here. This rivalry game brings the kids out for to see their classmates go up against their arch rivals.
And we'll see the Spirit Stick, I'm sure, and a lot of the same people at Frankfort High's football game on Friday night. They take on Eminence, and that is the Cable 10 football game of the week. So join us here for the action down at Bell Point. That'll be Lanny Brannick on the call for that, I believe.
So Saul came in for a few minutes, gets pummeled, and has to come out under the rules for the High School Athletic Association.
Yeah, and he's still clearly just trying to shake out the cobwebs a little bit.
Yeah, there's a body shot that caused some damage. John Lodmill with the throw in, and it's Greg Little trying to make something happen.
First time he's gotten any kind of space in the Frankfort High half. Doesn't amount to anything there. And right there is another example of Frankfort High just faster to the ball, and they're going to get a free kick because of it.
Yep. You know, a step ahead on almost every play tonight.
So you see Shigoya and Tracy there. And right now, just based on what we're seeing out of Frankfort High, have really just kind of dictated everything, every part of the proceedings here in the second half. They're the lower seed, but you'd almost favor them repeating as champions based on, you know, what we saw at a Great Crossing and what we're seeing out of the Panthers this evening.
Yep, and you know, Coach Maxwell is probably watching this game in Georgetown, and he's hoping that this scoreline stays tight, just so that Coach Farmer has to play all of his starters the entire game. And, you know, that's one of those mind things that happens when you pack 3 days worth of games all within a week. It's going to be a fatigue game tomorrow, and Great Crossing's going to have some advantage by having fresher legs.
Yeah, and Great Crossing really they really did grow into that game, as we've got a chance on goal. Coming in and just skying that over was the senior Houston Hancock. Probably had more time than he thought he did.
Right. And you'll notice when he comes through, the contact he's trying to avoid with the keeper and puts him off balance. And
yeah, Kittrell, I think, saw that happening and just couldn't react in time and almost like threw himself to the floor. Great Crossing, what I will say is towards the end of that game, probably the last 20 minutes, they did really grow into the game and were putting Franklin County under a lot of pressure. And if that goal by Logan Hepp had happened with about 10 minutes left in the game, you'd say that is as fair a result as it was, because on the balance of things, I think Great Crossing definitely the better of the two teams last night.
Yeah, I just think Coach Hayes had a good game plan, and I think Franklin County really was in a good position.
Header, chance to really put a bow on this. And that was Cal Wainscott coming in, nearly heading it into the goal. Let's take a look at the replay here. That one, the attempted clearance by Caden Leathers, just took it up and over his back. Credit to Cal Wainscott for being apprised of the situation and attacking.
Yeah, and you see it over and over again. Frankfort is able to create opportunities, and Western Hills seems to be, once again, just trying to stop the flow.
This will be a throw for the Panthers. And I think Western Hills thought there was a whistle there, but Beebe was still on the attack and nearly scored one of the most unconventional goals you'll ever see.
Yeah, he definitely had a head full of steam coming into the box there.
Yeah, Western Hills had just kind of stopped, and a lot of the Frankfort players had too, so I wonder if it was just an inadvertent whistle that somebody heard or maybe something from the crowd. We play on.
Yeah, here's Kittrell on the ball again. A pass to no one, but Frankfort will recover. And this is that inability of Western Hills to put pressure on the ball. You see it time and time again. They're just hoping to be able to clear it out of their defensive end. And
there's Shelton playing the cross in really too narrow there, but you make a good point. I mean, Frankfort High really has not had any trouble getting the ball into the Western Hills side of the field, and once they get there, it just seems like Western Hills is just constantly on their back heels.
Right, and you see the formation that they're playing. They're letting Stephon Beebe come back into almost the 6th role, so he's helping the defense, and then all of a sudden, as soon as they go offensive, he's up at the top of the box waiting for an opportunity. And, give Coach Farmer a lot of credit. He's got a talent, and he's using him to the best of his ability. There's Shelton now with the ball.
Yeah, missed kick. Western Hills, maybe their heads are starting to go a little bit here. Frankfort High not able to capitalize this time. And now Western Hills has a chance with Frankfort High a little bit committed back on the Western Hills side of the field. Now a chance to attack, but just really no pace in the attack thus far.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's that urgency that, oh my gosh, we've got numbers, let's go. Just not seeing that out of the heels tonight. And last night we saw Franklin County really rising to the occasion of the district tournament, and I think Western Hills right now has been more of a spectator role in this game than
Beebe using his strength to just brush off a defender, still with it. The slide tackle, and that's been a fun battle to watch all night as Bryce Douglas, one of the Western Hills players that can definitely hold his head up high after this one.
Yeah, he's bailed him out quite a few times, and it's just fun to see two talented players go at each other. And Bryce is leaving everything on the ground right now.
Yeah,
because
again, going to ground to be the last-ditch tackle, and that takes a lot of skill and a lot of courage.
And, it takes a lot out of you, too, because it's always a panic. And being able to consistently do that, people will remember when you can't do it and it ends up in the back of the net more so than when you do it on a consistent basis. It's a lot, when you teach a defender, you really don't want them going to ground unless they have to. He has consistently been able to survive going to the ground tonight. That's Batista trying to get the ball moving up the field, but Frankfort is closing in on Western Hills quickly.
Lawson with a nice turn.
But it's a panic kick to get it out. And, you look for them to build an offense, and Elias Chavez, once again, the ball goes completely around him, and Western Hills is going to have to figure something out with less than 20 minutes left in this game, down 2-0.
Yeah, you really start to feel like their route back into this game is going to be through Frankfort High making a series of mistakes in succession.
No, I think you're absolutely right that it's going to be a misplay, a missed tackle, a keeper error, something that's going to have to breathe some life into Western Hills, because right now I don't see a spark on the Hills team that's going to put something in the back of the net.
Just a little under 20 minutes left in this one. 2-0 your score. Frankfort High inching closer to a rematch in that championship. Excuse me.
And that's the kind of mistake that Western Hills needed, and sadly the ball just doesn't end up on the right person's foot. And you know, you keep thinking that Lady Luck's going to show her cards here, but not so much for Western Hills at this point.
Just a little frustration kick, and it almost ended up paying off.
Yeah.
And I didn't see that, but Little just kind of snuck in there and took the ball away. I thought for a second that the announcer had said corner kick, and I was really wondering how that could have been possible, but
that would have been a great touch by Seth Tucker if he could have got to that.
Yeah, would have had to hit it through the net.
Tucker puts the ball back in play, and that's Evan Alford with the take and trying to push the offense forward.
Yeah, I do kind of wonder here, you know, at what point Frankfort High is going to start maybe committing a few less bodies forward as the game creeps into the final few minutes.
You know, and watching Frankfort through the years, I don't know that they have that on them. They tend to be an attacking team, and they don't really play back too much. They play their game. And
there's something to be said for that, too, because I think sometimes, you know, a lot of teams can get caught up in trying to sort of just overplay to the moment instead of leaning into their strengths, and sometimes it can just really throw your momentum off, and that can be enough to lose your advantage.
Yeah, there's an offside. Stefan Beebe waited a little too long to distribute the ball out wide.
The Frankfort High fans over there in the corner, spirited as ever, and they've got a lot to cheer about so far, as they've already got one team in the championship with the Lady Panthers winning tonight, and well on their way to getting a second.
Foul on Greg Little after Elias Chavez lost the ball in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I think a little bit of frustration maybe on Little's part. You know, he's a senior. This is looking to more than likely be his last game in the Wolverine colors, and he's had a great career at Western Hills, and it'd be a shame for him to, you know, go out the way he has, but certainly nothing to be ashamed of in his output as a Wolverine.
Yeah, he's had a good year this year with 12 goals and 3 assists, and you know it's one of those things that players never want to see their careers end, but he can hang his head high and understand that not every game's going to go the way you want it to, and tonight has definitely not gone the way that Coach Marquis Dawson drew up.
Look at BB all the way into the midfield, just trying to get trying to just kind of take this game by the reins, really, and guide Frankfort High home.
Yeah, and you know, it's one of those things I've noticed here lately. He's starting to show a little bit of fatigue, but once again, he is able to influence the game in ways.
Western Hills.
That was Chavez.
Yeah, Chavez taking it by himself. He had Greg Little making a run through the middle, and just didn't see him in time.
Yeah, I think he kind of got in between. He couldn't decide shot or pass, and so he kind of did something in the middle.
Sometimes that works out because it can throw the keeper off a little bit. Maybe he spills it. There's Lawson, who was looking to play that through ball, but cut out well by Frankfort.
I'll tell you, Carter Lawson has shown a lot of heart playing tonight. He has gone up against much bigger players and come out winning balls.
And he'll have a couple more years if he sticks with it. It's only a sophomore.
Yeah, and you know, he played a lot of JV last year. He scored goals, and he's got a lot of skills. It's just going to be how he's going to develop over these last couple of years.
Got a goal kick. It'll be the first touch Seth Tucker's had in a little while.
And we're under 15 minutes, and Western Hills is going to have to figure out what they're going to do.
Yeah, time's running out on the Wolverines, as Frankfort High is going to take this time and this opportunity to maybe try to save a save some legs for tomorrow night as we see Cameron Roach coming into the game.
Yeah, Cameron's a senior and a great kid. We've watched him kind of grow up in the soccer community, and good to see him get out there and get some minutes in this district game.
Now you see BB dropping back into the defense almost. It might be more of that just sort of positional freedom that he's been given. Make sure you stay with us after the game. We'll have the play of the game brought to you by Central Kentucky Toyota Dealerships, the player of the game, and the post-game recap brought to you by Expree Credit Union. And we'll set up our championship games for tomorrow night. And right now it's looking to be the same as we had last year as Great Crossing and Frankfort High. Both seem to be the ones that are going to vie for the championship on the boys and the girls side.
Yeah, Frankfort girls were very impressive in their win, and you know, the Frankfort boys have looked very good tonight as well.
Saul Batista back in the game for the Wolverines.
After his cross-body check he had earlier.
I think urgency is just the key word here, and you mentioned it before, Brad. This is the point where you have to see it out of the Wolverines because, I mean, you're a little over 10 minutes away from your season being over.
Yeah, and, you know, right now they have not got any part of the math equation of this game correct. You know, ultimately it's going to come down to a couple of plays, but this one, I can't remember where they put Seth Tucker, the keeper for Frankfort, in a difficult position.
Here's Beebe. He's got space to operate in on the left. Just trying to lay it forward, giving Kittrell something to run onto. Kittrell with the cutback finds himself some space, going to take the right-footed shot just wide.
Yeah, I think Beebe was wanting that ball again as he's making his run.
And Kittrell had a really tight angle to put that in, but almost got it there.
That's a nice move there by Kittrell to get around Caden Leathers, and then he takes a shot and just a little wide on the short side.
Yeah, maybe just needed to open up a little bit more. Frankfort High with the ability to maybe salt away a little bit on the clock here.
And there's Beebe again. Look at the athleticism that he's showing going to chase that ball.
Yeah, Beebe laying it off, almost getting to it is Kittrell.
And it's just one of those things, watching him try and take over this game is a treat because, you know, we're not going to be able to see this in district play next year when he graduates. But he's had a great career and just an outstanding player, and we'll see what happens with his next steps.
And as a defender, it's 2-0. You've been chasing them all night. We see on the replay here, you know, Caden Leathers at that point has to, you know, the ball's going into the corner of his own side of the field, and he's like, I got to chase this guy over here now again? Right. What are you doing? You're up 2 goals. Come on, man.
Right, and, you know, and BB had the challenge there and still made a great pass. The problem was nobody else was making runs, and here's Shelton making a run
Shelton
now.
Has a run, and Leathers, or excuse me, that was actually number 3, John Lodmell, the junior, coming in to make the last-ditch clearance.
With 10 minutes left, wondering what kind of magic Marquis Dawson's going to pull out of his coaching bag here to try to get some offense. What sub, what formation, what is going to change this outcome? Because right now, with 10 minutes left, this is a Frankfort High dominated game.
Yeah, it's hard to see this ending any other way.
You know, the first time they played each other, it was 5-3 game, and I can't imagine that that when they were thinking about this game on the Frankfort coaching staff that they thought that they'd come out with a 2-0 lead this late.
But stranger things have happened, and stranger things tend to happen in this game. I'm a fan of Liverpool Football Club, and we managed to win the first 5 league games of the season in the Premier League without, I think we played maybe 20 minutes of good football in the entire time. So strange things happen.
Yep.
And, you know, Western Hills does have skill players that can, you know, just given given a tiny opportunity, can change the complexion of this game completely, and that's the beauty of this particular sport.
Yeah, and what I'm looking for is, once again, just a mistake that would put some fire in the bellies of the Western Hills players. And, you know, trying again to free up Chavez, and he's got his head down trying to make something happen.
But to that point, and we talked about mistake, you have to give it up to the Panthers for really having been very solid in keeping the mistakes to a minimum, and they're not the kind that would actually like result in a goal. So
yeah,
Panthers have really been value for money so far tonight.
And this has been a very clean game. There's not been dirty plays. I mean, this is a bitter rivalry, and it's been very clean. But I think part of it's because Western Hill's been very unemotional.
Yeah, there just seemed there's a little bit of kind of detachment from the moment.
Yeah, and I get back to see if there's going to be a spark here, but it just very methodical. We're going through the paces, not trying to win a game here.
BB with the shot from distance just tried to sneak it inside the near post.
I like seeing Shelton make those runs time and time again, and he's not even getting the ball, but he's still got the heart to make those runs. That's what I like to see out of players, is that you're still playing the game the way it's supposed to be played. The ball might not come to you, but you're still making that run in the hopes that it does.
And that run is not just simply because you think you might get the ball. A lot of times it's to create space.
Correct.
And to give the defender one more thing to have to think about.
Right. And, when we think about soccer, a lot of times the best play are done by those selfless actions, and that create space for others. And that's the nuance that soccer provides that some of the other plays don't. And see Chavez with just unlucky having ball come up on his right hand there.
I always kind of compare it to basketball in the way that there has to be some fluidity in the way that the team moves, and that's really where the game inside the game is played.
Yeah, and it's called the beautiful game for a reason, and it's because of that combining with players that make this sport such a lovely game to watch.
And watching players with the skill level of a Stephen Beebe is a lot of fun from our perspective here in the commentary booth.
He's been about as dominating in this game as I've seen in a high school matchup in a while.
And that is another just
soccer
veteran
IQ
move, soccer IQ again, throwing it off the foot of a Western Hills defender and earning his team a corner in the most industrial way you could possibly think of.
We talked about the McClavics and the history they had in the sport here in Frankfort. I get back to the days that Reed McClavic was playing for this Frankfort Panther team.
Remember it well.
Saw a lot of the same type of headsy type soccer plays, and it's just special to watch those players that have that kind of agility, that kind of soccer IQ, and just a nose for the game.
And really, from the Western Hills perspective, that's just not really paying attention.
Yeah, and Western Hills here, you see them, they're on their heels. Even when they gain possession, they're struggling to do anything with it. And
it's not an effort thing. It just might be, just mentally they're a little bit shaken.
Yeah, and it's a rivalry game, and last year they had the early lead and then imploded. This year they never even got the chance to get on the board at this point with 5 minutes left.
Frankfort High with 1 foot in the championship game, and of course you'll see that tomorrow night directly following the girls championship game, which will be these same schools, Great Crossing and Frankfort High as it stands right now.
Now see Carter Lawson left in a heap there in the middle of the field. He has played his heart out, and if there are bright spots, this is going to be danger. This is danger.
Just not able to keep up with the pace of BB. He puts it on frame. Nice save there.
Yeah, James Christie has played a great game. He's down 2-0, but he's still making saves.
As we see on the floor show replay here, BB with a clear look at goal. He was trying to go for the far corner, I believe.
But he's still got that engine going, trying to make something happen.
Yeah. I think he just really wanted to get on the scoreboard, as we see an injury right now. As
Cam Roach looks like he may have picked up a knock there.
Yeah, that looks like just maybe a little bit of might have had the wind knocked out of him or something. It's hard to tell. It was kind of behind the play a little bit.
Gonna have a ball drop after that injury, and
Western Hill is now just trying to play it over the midfield and just get bodies forward in any way that they can.
You know, every time Elias Chavez touches the ball, there's 3 people around him. Every time. And they're just not having any kind of movement that's going to free him up. And a lot of standing around from Western Hills tonight.
Yeah, really, I've been watching it a little bit, and right now it's playing that role as Houston Hancock, but there's always been one player between Chavez and the ball.
Just shadowing him. And, you know, it'll be interesting to see if this holds and Great Crossing plays Frankfort tomorrow, to see what Coach Maxwell from Great Crossing is going to do with Stephon Beebe. We've watched him take over this game. What is the coach from Great Crossing going to try and do to minimize his impact tomorrow? And I anticipate that you're going to see some kind of a midfield block, have 2 6s assigned to him, something of that nature that would stop some of these runs that Beebe's been able to dominate play with tonight.
And we saw that a little bit last night against Franklin County, as Great Crossing just really winning the midfield battle there. And just, you know, Franklin County has a lot of really nice skill players in that midfield, and they just were never really able to get much time and space on the ball.
Yeah, and, you know, Coach Maxwell's got a deep roster, a lot of skill, a lot of club-playing players that understand the tactical side of this, and it'll be interesting to see what's drawn up tonight. I'm looking forward to seeing that final.
2.5 minutes left. The Wolverines running out of time to get back into this one. Here's Little, and it's just kind of a microcosm of what they've been dealing with all night as Caden Samuel comes and takes it off of his feet. Just never really able, Western Hills, to get out of first gear.
Carter Lawson once again trying to dictate play there. He's going to be an exciting player to watch in the next couple of years.
Yeah, he's really been impressive this evening. Minute 57 left.
There are now 2 minutes left in the half.
Or 2 minutes, as the announcer tells us. Here's Little. Just takes a shot from distance, and he's going to test Seth Tucker. Spilled it a little bit, but never really in any danger.
And, you know, it's one of those things when you don't see a lot of shots, it's good to test a keeper like that, and Tucker rose to the occasion. We're down to 90 seconds now, and the matchup tomorrow night will be one that will dictate seedings for region. So both teams that will play will go to the regional tournament, but you know, the matchup of being a first seed or a second seed is critical when you've got Lexington teams waiting in the wings.
Yeah, the 11th region really just year after year a meat grinder. Shigoya has a chance on goal and a collision right on the face of goal, and I believe I thought Shigoya was offside, but they're giving him a corner.
You know, that was a clean play by both players and a lot of hustle there. Once again, James Christie, impressive in how he's played tonight. That is a play that he gave his body for it in more ways than one.
He has to make, you know. If you want any chance, and you know, chance is slim to none, and Slim's packing his bags, but
in the last minute of a 2-0 game, and he's making that play.
Yeah, just laying himself out there, not to let the deficit get any higher. Just can't say enough about the effort he's put in tonight.
And there's Shelton going to the flag and trying to wind the clock down.
And I've heard some people criticize that.
That's a yellow card that's going to come out for Stephon Beebe for.
And now he's just got to.
That was not a
keep
smart
himself calm a little bit, just because you don't want to even have the chance of, saying something untoward to the ref and maybe, getting yourself a red card.
And it's one of those things totally unnecessary.
Yep, just kicks the ball away or throws the ball away a little bit. And, the officials got to call that at that point because, the clock's ticking down and Western Hills, really not even a puncher's chance of winning it at this point, but have to keep the game going.
Yeah, and, it's one of those things. We talk about soccer IQ, and that was one of those that not the play that he should have made.
Yeah, sometimes you outthink yourself. As the seconds wind down and the clock runs out on Western Hills' season, Frankfort High moves on to defend their crown in the 41st District Tournament. They will take on the Great Crossing Warhawks tomorrow night. We'll have that action for you. And we'll be back in just a little bit with the play of the game brought to you by Central Kentucky Toyota Dealerships, and the player of the game and the post-game recap brought to you by Esprit Credit Union. Stay with us here on the Cable 10 Game of the Week.
There's a reason why Toyota is America's best-selling retail brand. It's the quality, dependability, and reliability that you expect from Toyota. And that starts right here in the USA, where Toyota has invested over $49 billion into 11 different manufacturing plants, including the newest one, a battery plant for its electrified vehicles. There are now 13 different Toyotas built in the USA, with more on the way. America drives Toyota. Let's go places.
The Game of the Week is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer. For all Toyota offers, visit Toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
High five to all our local teams from Esprit Credit Union. Esprit celebrates and encourages you and your successes athletically, personally, and financially. Let us reward you. Open a High Five Experience account and earn money with your checking. Visit us at esprit.org for details. Membership required, federally insured by NCUA.
The Game of the Week was brought to you by Esprit Credit Union. Esprit Credit Union wishes all our local teams a great season. Show your local spirit with a spirited debit card featuring your school colors and mascot. Open an Esprit spirited account today and let the rivalry continue. Federally insured by NCUA.
The lights are off on the scoreboard and it's all said and done, and the Panthers are celebrating with their faithful as they come out victorious 2-0 over the Western Hills Wolverines tonight. And we've got the Central Kentucky Toyota Dealerships play of the game here for you, and really this was what set the tone for the entire rest of the evening, Brad.
Yeah, it's BB carrying the ball, finding Kittrell on the final third, and Kittrell knew what to do with it, just as he's done previously this season, put it in the back of the net, and at the end of the day, BB to Kittrell, and Frankfort is on to the championship.
And really, that guy you see on your screen right now, Stefan Beebe, he was the one that just really ran the show for Frankfort High and dictated the entire pace of this game. And very appropriately, he will be our Esprit Credit Union player of the game, as this was only the start of his influence tonight, which was massive.
Yeah, and every positive movement from the Panther team came through the attributes of number 15. You know, he was dangerous. He caused turmoil for Western Hills. You see Bryce Douglas had to make save after save after save just to keep him out.
So he will be our Esprit Credit Union player of the game. And what a performance tonight for Stefan Beebe. Now it's time for the post-game recap brought to you by Esprit Credit Union. And really, we talked about it right before the game ended. This was one where Western Hills was under attack early and just never really seemed to get out of first gear, Brad.
Yeah, you know, we knew who scored first was going to dictate the play, and you know, sadly, it was dictated early on by Frankfort, and Western Hills really didn't threaten at all during this game.
And they really just never had an answer for Stefan Beebe. just making those runs in midfield, having the freedom to go anywhere on the pitch to get the ball.
Right, and if you were analyzing a heat map for Stefan Beebe, he was every inch of this field tonight and controlling the ball.
Well, make sure you join us tomorrow night. We're going to have the girls action for the 41st District Championship as the Lady Panthers of Frankfort High will play the Lady Warhawks of Great Crossing. And we'll have the same two schools in the boys' 41st District Tournament. And you saw how we got there in the post-game recap brought to you by Esprit Credit Union. I want to thank you for sticking with us tonight. We had some entertaining soccer. I want to thank you, Brad Thomas, for joining us here in the booth. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, this was a good night for soccer, and it'll be exciting to see the championship games tomorrow night.
I'll have it with you with Lanny Brannock, so make sure you join us tomorrow night right here on the Cable 10 Game of the Week. Good night.